What would you do if your plane suddenly lost control at 35,000 feet? And the only person who could save everyone was someone no one expected. This is a story of fear, courage, and a moment that turned an ordinary flight into something unforgettable. When panic took over and hope seemed lost, one young boy stood up, and what he did next shocked all 200 passengers on board. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful and emotional stories. Now let's get started at 35,000 feet above the Atlantic. The flight had been smooth and uneventful, the kind that lulled passengers into a false sense of security. Some were watching movies, others sleeping while flight attendants moved quietly down the aisle, with drinks and polite smiles. Then everything changed in an instant. Inside the cockpit, the pilot suddenly slumped forward unresponsive. The co-pilot's voice cracked over the intercom. As he called for assistance, his tone edged with panic. Within seconds, the aircraft hit a patch of rough turbulence, causing the cabin to shake violently. Gasps turned into screams as overhead bins rattled and oxygen masks dropped from above. Passengers scrambled, fear spreading like wildfire. A mother clutched her child tightly. A businessman fumbled with his seatbelt, and whispers of what's happening echoed throughout the cabin. Flight attendants rushed to maintain order, their training kicking in, despite the fear in their eyes. One of them knocked urgently on the cockpit door, waiting for instructions, but the uncertainty only made everything worse. No one seemed to have control anymore. Amid the chaos in the middle row, a young black boy sat quietly, his expression unusually calm. While others panicked, his eyes remained fixed toward the front of the plane, as if he understood something no one else did. Slowly, he unbuckled his seatbelt and stood up. The movement caught the attention of nearby passengers, who looked at him in confusion. Why was a child standing at a time like this? Ignoring the frightened stares and trembling voices around him, the boy stepped into the aisle. His small figure moved steadily forward, unaffected by the shaking aircraft. A flight attendant quickly noticed and rushed toward him, her voice firm but concerned as she told him to sit down. But when the boy looked up and spoke, his calm, unwavering tone made her pause just for a second. The boy stepped past the flight attendant and reached the cockpit door, his small hand steady as he pushed it open. Inside, alarms blinked and echoed sharply, filling the cramped space with urgency. The co-pilot's hands trembled on the controls, his breathing uneven as he tried to manage the failing situation alone. For a moment he froze at the sight of a child entering, but there was no time to question it. The boy's eyes moved quickly across the instrument panel, focused and precise, as if every dial and screen made perfect sense to him. "Keep the wings level, don't fight the turbulence. Work with it," the boy said calmly, his voice cutting through the panic. Something about his tone carried confidence, the kind that made people listen. With hesitation but no better option, the co-pilot followed his instructions. The aircraft steadied slightly. Though the shaking hadn't fully stopped, seconds stretched into long, tense minutes as the boy continued guiding him, calling out adjustments with surprising clarity. In the cabin, the chaos slowly began to quiet. Passengers who had been screaming moments ago now sat frozen. Sensing a shift, the plane wasn't spiraling anymore. It was stabilizing hope. Fragile but real spread through the rows inside the cockpit. The boy didn't lose focus. He explained that his late father had been a pilot, who trained him on simulators for years. Every lesson, every detail now rushed back to him. Drawing on that memory, he guided the co-pilot through the final approach. The runway lights appeared in the distance, and with one last coordinated effort, the plane descended smoothly. When the wheels finally touched the ground, a heavy silence filled the cabin, followed by overwhelming relief.